Life is a 1982 novel by the Chinese author Lu Yao. During his tragically short life, Lu Yao became a literary sensation due to his novels that captured the zeitgeist of a rapidly urbanizing China. In a country used to vague and verbose writing, often in the form of political propaganda, Lu's stripped-down and lyrical prose made him nationally popular by his mid-30s. The characters in his award-winning debut novella Life, 人生, which was published just 6 years after the end of the Cultural Revolution, represented different facets of the new China. This dark and fatalistic story captured the struggles and aspirations of a nation whose people were now encouraged to jump into the sea, 下海, of entrepreneurship. So at the time it was a slang word for going into business, jumping into the sea, 下海. The plot centers on Gao Jialin, who, due to political maneuvering above his station, loses his job in education and is forced to become a laborer, rendering him unable to apply all his hard-won bookish knowledge. Under a government that has recently ceased to crush its people's entrepreneurial genius, the aspirational Gao manages to escape to the city and a higher status in society. He is subsequently torn between two women. There is the sweet, unintellectual, provincial Liu Qiaozhen, whose beauty and devotion captivate Gao in early life, and there is the elegant and well-spoken Huang Yapian, who has committed to marry another man. Gao's ambition causes him to drift apart from Qiaozhen. In one scene, though they are still in love, they are stuck for something to talk about. Gao laments that she couldn't name 14 kinds of new or renewable energy. She looks pitiful, wanting him to want her, but not knowing how to make it so. Great line. To break things off with Qiaozhen, Gao wants to write her a letter, but he has no choice but to tell her to her face because she is illiterate. The story is told through shifting viewpoints, allowing the reader to enter the thoughts of all the characters. Lu Yao fully understood that the inner lives of uneducated people were as deep and complex as those of the more bookish. Her environment has not given Qiaozhen an adequate vocabulary, but she is wise and bright and as conscious of the real facts as anybody else. In Age of Ambition, New Yorker correspondent Evan Osnos pointed out that in the 1970s, it was valued for a Chinese man to be lao shi, meaning earnest and stoic. However, in the new China, young men were urged to be feng liao, adventurous and spontaneous. It's his new adventurousness that proves Gao Jialin's undoing. So, a model for being feng liao was the Leonardo DiCaprio character Jack in Titanic, which came out in 1997. Huang Yapian, so the other woman in the main character's life, her father is appalled at her decision to leave her fiancé for Gao Jialin, claiming that the younger generation is undoing all the good work of the revolution. In the new China, the material success that Gao accomplishes through his adventurousness does not provide him with the happiness he craves. While people may feel content with their accomplishments, they may also feel a sense of loss at the suddenness of their success. A theme throughout literature about aspiration around the world. So the translator of this book, Chloe Estep, does a brilliant job of rendering Lu's deceptively simple prose into English. So my copy is full of post-it notes with really nice bits of prose that I often come back to. Gao Jialin's story is a compelling example of how a generation left home to acquire wealth and possessions, but forgot that, like the earthworm, humans are creatures of the soil. His detachment from the land ends up damaging the most important relationships in Gao Jialin's life.